Hey, folks, welcome back to another podcast. I'm your host, Timon, and this is my podcast, Cool Conversations with Interesting People. And do I have a cool conversation today? But before we get to that, let's talk about some business, and that's Quiet River Massage and Revival based in Syracuse, Indiana. Jasmine has all your massage needs. She will definitely get you feeling right. She has 90, 60, 30-minute massages. She does hot rocks, essential oils, everything you need. She's got you covered. Check her out at quiet_river_massage on Instagram. Links in the below. Click the show notes on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple. I have her information there. Book a visit, and for sure follow her on Instagram. And if you do get a massage, leave a review. That helps her out. Today, guys, I talked to Doug Shaffer. He owned Doug Sports Cuts in Goshen, Indiana. 50 years of cutting hair, and boy, does Doug have stories. So he did so much, from just how he started to the different places he's been to the locations, the different arenas he's been in. So many stories and such cool memorabilia that he has. So I am so thankful that he came on and we just talked about the community and the things he did in the community and the people he connected with. So guys, you're not going to want to miss this episode. So without further ado, Doug the Barber. Okay, we're live. Doug, welcome, man. Thank you.
Welcome to you, Tim, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I got your information from Scott Puckett,
Right?
And because of that, Scott's a great judge of character. I love him so much, and
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Is.
He's been on this podcast.
Has he?
Yeah, and so and I've known him for a while, and I'm like, I need to reach out to Doug, and I've been aware of your shop. I've driven past it. It's
right.
Iconic. It's on 33.
Right.
And so when we had that phone call, last week, I'm like, this guy's gonna be fun to talk to, and already it's been great.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun. Yeah, that's for sure.
Just listeners, so he came in, he gave my wife and I a Jello shot right at the start, and I love it. I'm like, let's go, this is great. So,
yeah, break the ice.
Yeah, it's a good way to start this and everything. So anyway, let's start out, man. Tell the people who you are. And
I'm Doug Shaffer. I lived in Bristol till I was a seventh grader. We moved to Concord because Bristol consolidated with Elkhart.
Oh, yeah.
And I was one of 6 kids, and we couldn't drive back and forth. It was too much for my parents because we all played sports. And so anyways, we moved to Concord. I graduated, and then I met this beautiful honey over here in Goshen, and we got married, and that's how I got over to Goshen. And that's when I started cutting hair in Wakarusa, June 22nd, June 22nd, 1974.
Wow.
And my first haircut was Jim Hartzell at 7 in the morning. He was my last haircut, October 6, 2023.
Yeah,
I showed you, I got $1, the very first $1 I ever made. I have that, and he autographed it back in whatever.
Did you know when he first autographed it, then did you know that was going to be
No, what a picture, though.
Yeah.
Think about it. I got $1 from the guy from 50 years ago that gave me I gave him
the first haircut
ever.
Were you friends with him prior, or did he just come in off the street?
He came in. He was my first haircut, and then he was my last.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the last one, he was really... He said, I'm really pretty famous. Everybody knows I'm going to be Doug's last haircut. And so,
it got to his head a little.
Oh, yeah.
As an investment that he didn't realize he was making back in 73.
Oh, my gosh. It was incredible. But what a run of cutting hair. I love people. I don't care what color they are. I don't care how big, fat, ugly. I don't care.
Yeah.
People are people, and everybody has a story. Yeah. And the things that I've learned and shared, I've learned more from my customers than I did in high school and college.
Wow.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. You have to be an idiot to not learn.
Yeah.
God gave you ears and listen.
Yeah.
It was just a fabulous run.
Yeah.
Just fabulous.
It's 50 years of just cutting hair. And I feel like if you are a barber, if you're a good barber, you are listening to the people that are sitting in your chair. You have to be able to talk to them.
Right.
No one wants to go in and just, some people maybe do want to just.
You can't believe how many people come in for a haircut and said, oh my God, you talked to me.
Really?
The last place I went, they didn't say nothing.
Wow.
I said, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's fun. And the other really stupid thing, that was my advantage is God gave me really good ears.
Hmm.
And so when a guy would come in for a haircut, I did it the way he wanted, not the way Doug Shaffer wanted it. I did it the way he wanted. And it was successful. It was just,
Yeah. Just you were
give it
active.
180% and everything works out.
Yeah. Listening, active listening, and just doing the thing. And wow. Yeah. So did you started in Wakarusa?
Right. I started in Milwaukee, and Jim Hartzell was my first haircut. But I started June 22nd. The fair is like July 22nd.
Yeah.
So I'm a rookie. I go to the fair, and I have a picture in here of the beginning of my...
Oh, no way.
I got a picture of Ronnie.
Just you can put all this on the front of the table if you want to, and we can just kind of get through it. I love this. Before you came, you called and you said, "What should I bring?" I said, "Bring whatever." And you came with.
Here's a Wakarusa Tribune doing a...
Wow. Okay, so yeah, doing a story 10 years, almost 11 years ago. Wow.
I got to get to the beginning, but in here's a picture, a newspaper of these Siamese twins. I go to the fair, and there's these Siamese twins, and I said, "Hey, you guys need a haircut."
Yeah.
I said, "I have a shop. I'm partners with a guy in Wakarusa. You come over." I said, "We'll give you free haircuts, and then we'll have TV come and do a story in newspaper. You'll get some publicity,
Yeah.
and people will come out to the fair to see you with nice haircuts." So they came in. Oh my God, I should have never done it because I was a rookie,
Right.
and I had all these people there, and it was a tough performance back then.
Because you were right. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone was watching.
Yeah, and I wasn't obviously used to that, but yeah.
So you started your career with a bang, really.
Everything's been a bang in my life. It just has.
It just starts from. Did you know you wanted to do haircuts at the start?
No, I hated my job. I was working in the RV industry.
Okay.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I did. I hated it.
Were you in the factory?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I was designing plumbing units for mobile homes and travel trailers, so I'd go to the factories. And the last straw was I went to Skylark in Bristol.
Yeah.
They had a holding tank leak, and it was dripping sewer water.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
And so I go out there to fix it, and I got my pint of glue with the little brush, dauber. And I said to the plumber there, I said, "Did you empty the holding tank?" "Oh, yeah, it's empty." So I get on a creeper, and I roll under the coach.
Right.
And I pull the valve so I can put the glue on it, and
Oh, no.
crap
Everywhere.
comes pouring out. I run over I had a helper there. The cart ran over his fingers,
Oh,
and me
no.
scrambling to get out of the way.
Yeah. You don't want
It was a
covered
crappy
in-
job.
Yeah.
So I got out of it.
Yeah. And so you decided at that point, you got to find something else.
Yeah. So I went to barber school in Louisville, Kentucky, and it was a great run. It was a really great run, and had a great time there in Louisville.
Was it, how long, was it like a year and a half process?
It took me 9 months. I went to school 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Okay.
And you had to have
Like 1,000?
1,800 hours,
Yeah.
whatever. It took like 9 months, and I went every day. You never missed
Yeah.
because I wanted out of there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I went to barber school in Louisville and got out and started cutting hair in Milwaukee, and then went to Dunlap for a few years. Then I opened up Doug's Sports Cut October 23rd, 1989.
Okay. In the same location
That's here in Goshen. Yeah, same chairs, same everything. But when I started there, I called Dr. Abel I asked him, he was friends with Gale Sayers, the running back for the Bears.
Okay.
I said, "Hey, Doc," I said, "this is Doug Shaffer. I opened up a barbershop baseball card store." I said, "Can you ask Gale Sayers if he'll come do a story at Doug's Sports Cut, of signing autographs, and I'll have my customers come?" And he said, "No." He says, "But I got his phone number in Chicago. You can call him at his computer store." I'm like, "Oh, my God, I got to cold call Gale Sayers."
Yeah.
So I did. I called him, and I told him who I was. I wanted him and his wife to come sign for like 1 hour.
Yeah.
Hour and a half, and I said, "Then afterwards, I'll take you out for pizza and beer, whatever."
Right.
So he came. It was June 13th, 1990. So again,
wow.
I opened October 23rd, 1989. So 2 months later, not even, or November, December, so almost 3 months, he comes and signs the autograph.
January,
Well,
wow.
before he came, God gave me a very creative mind. So I called Sports Illustrated and said, hey, do you want to do a story on Gale Sayers signing autographs at my shop? I have a barbershop baseball card store. And they said, no, but your shop sounds cool. Send me a paragraph or two about your shop.
Yeah.
So I'm a real big believer in handwritten
Yeah.
letters, not typewritten or computer, whatever. I'm old-fashioned.
Right.
So I wrote them a handwritten 4-page letter, sent it to them. They sent a writer out, Austin Murphy, to do a story on my shop. And then they sent a photographer. He was there all day at my shop. He shot 1,000, 2,000 pictures.
Wow.
And I was in then, I got in Sports Illustrated here June 18th, 1990. And I mean, that's crazy to think. I never made
Just
it.
a seed planted in January of just writing that. You're like, hey, let's try this.
Yeah.
And then there you are.
There, have sports
wow.
gone to his head. And there's, I didn't know if there'd be a picture in there. And there's 3 pictures.
Wow. Of you and all that. I'm going to
Yeah.
hold up for the camera. I'll be real careful here.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nuts. So then there you are. Same kind of dugout and ball diamond.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah. What came up, what made you come up with that kind of idea of doing?
Who doesn't like sports?
Right.
If they don't like sports, I'm not sure I wanted them in my shop. You know,
Yeah.
you didn't have to, but you
Yeah.
know, everybody understands. There's my wife and my oldest son when we opened in business there,
Oh, wow.
and there's some more of Gale.
The mayor of the was that mayor of Goshen at that time?
Yeah.
Wow. Ooh, man, I've got
then-
questions for you about Goshen. That's exciting.
So all that is about my first day,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
yeah, it was. I cut hair. Most people, if you had a chance to get out of work, people, if the factory lights go out or whatever, well, there was an ice storm. Maybe when you were in grade school,
Yeah.
roughly, there was an ice storm that shut down everything for 2 days.
Yes.
That didn't shut down Doug's Sports Club.
No.
I went and took a generator and put it out on my front sidewalk, and I ran 2 extension cords in, one to run my clippers, and I had 1 light.
One for the light. Yeah, because
And so I cut hair for 2 days.
Wow. You just come up. So what made you come up with the idea to do the sport? Like you said, everyone loves sports, and I'm sure you love sports cards. You loved all of those things. And so how did this start?
Probably my favorite sport growing up was baseball.
Okay. That's what I
And I wanted a cheap area for waiting, so what could be better
Right.
than a dugout?
Right.
And so my dad, he built everything that first day that I opened. He put the carpet down.
Wow.
Went and shopped for dirt-colored linoleum. Then my baseball mirror, I have a 4-foot circle mirror of a baseball. The threads of the baseball were sandblasted in the back of it.
Oh, wow.
And so that's a mirror you looked in to get your hair cut.
Right.
And it was just
Kind of all tied together.
it was, because you walked into my shop, the first third was a grass football field.
Yeah.
It had goal posts at each end, and I had it numbered, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 40, 30,
Right.
da-da-da.
Right.
And so then the next 2/3 was baseball.
Okay.
And then the last one, I had a parquet Boston Garden basketball court.
Oh, wow.
And kids could play back there.
Oh, wow.
But I had to shut it down. I felt like a real ding-dong because I couldn't get the kids off the court. You'd be back there playing with your buddies. The next 2 haircuts, they'd be back there playing.
Yeah.
And I need to cut their hair.
They wouldn't. Yeah, they just
It was
wanted
hard.
to play.
Yeah.
And then they're
It
all
was
sweaty,
hard.
and you're trying to cut the hair too, right?
Yeah. So I end up shutting it down.
Yeah.
I'll bet you, I don't know what the time period was, but I can't even begin to tell you how many rims were broken from them dunking the ball. It was a great run. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely nothing without the customers.
Right.
And when you can realize that in business, when you make them, that person, when they got in my chair, they were the number one person. So If you were in my chair, I would talk to you. There would be people over here. I didn't talk to them.
Right.
I talked to you.
Yeah.
And people complimented me. Yeah, because I gave them everything I had.
Yeah.
And I did that pretty much in everything in life. I mean, that's the way it was.
Full focus on it.
Yeah.
Where did you, just the love of sports cards, did people come in and look at your sports? Did people always bring in memorabilia? Were there
I've had so much memorabilia.
Did you sold sports cards too, or
yeah?
Okay.
I sold cards, memorabilia. I probably sold 10 Mickey Mantle rookies.
Wow.
Those are like prima donnas.
Yeah.
I held a Honus Wagner card. The biggest guy out of New York City, Mr. Mint. I was at the National Card Show up in Chicago in 1990, and he had just bought a Honus Wagner card, and it was like a whole corner was gone, not just damaged. It was gone. It was bent 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And back in 1990, I think he paid $32,000, because they're millions of dollars now.
Yeah.
But just to see that was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been a very opportunistic barber. I'm always looking ahead. I have stacks. Here's when CNN did a story on my shop.
Really? You said you're used to the TV.
Yeah,
because you've not done a podcast. I mean, this is different a little, but you've just had from even the start having the Siamese twins in.
We'll run into that picture
eventually. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. But here's a cop that was dying of cancer.
Oh, wow.
And so 21 cops, I shaved their head for nothing.
Yeah.
In honor.
And that's giving back to the community.
Yeah.
That's just.
I was voted the vibrant person in Elkhart County.
That's awesome.
This was really horrible, but here is Boys and Girls Club. I bought 11,000 Sammy Sosa rookie baseball cards.
Okay.
11,000.
That's a lot.
I paid like 7 cents a piece.
Okay.
Because anybody that got in the Hall of Fame, their card went to $100.
Yeah.
$100. So if Sammy Sosa did anything good, if he got in the Hall of Fame, I have 11,000 of his cards.
Yeah.
So
1.1 mil, right?
Yeah. You're good with numbers. I love it. Yeah. So I'm going to make $1 million.
Right.
It's that simple. And the reason I bought Sammy Sosa was because I was a really poor kid growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, poor as could be. It was great because it made me hungry.
Right.
I think it's easier for a poor person to be successful than a rich person.
Yeah.
A rich kid.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was hungry.
You see that too. You see generational wealth get squandered very easily.
Yeah, look at the president's son.
Right.
I mean, holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah. You see it. It's like the second generation can kind of hold together. The third generation starts to really it depends on the family, but you don't see really rich families pass that on.
Yeah. Well, his baseball card, his upper deck card said that he had blazing speed, rocket arm, and hit for lots of power.
Yeah.
But he sent his check back to the Dominican Republic.
Wow.
To take care of his family.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, this guy is going to make it because he's hungry.
He's got the hunger for it. Yeah.
So
he was big too. He was one of my favorite players back then.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Till the cork scandal. That was.
Steroids. The whole steroid thing. I wish I could go right now in front of Baseball Writers of America. I wish I could talk to them because I'd tell them, you know what? You guys have played God.
Right.
Nobody less than God. And you've kept Sammy Sosa out of the Hall of Fame because of why? Because he did steroids.
Right.
Okay? Do you know what? Steroids weren't illegal. So how can you damn somebody if it wasn't illegal?
Right.
So him, McGuire, and all the people that did it, we don't know who's in. Did Frank Thomas do it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
but it wasn't illegal at that time, and it's a big across the sports world. It's also a big controversy as well.
Right.
It's like what's the Armstrong when he did the Tour de France or whatever, and if you would get rid of anyone who was doping, you have to go to the 37th place winner because everyone was doing these
Yeah.
performance enhancing drugs, or they're just trying to be the best that they could.
Right.
And, you have trainers that are saying, hey, take this and do this, take this vitamin and, get this amount of sleep and do that. I mean, that's what they're getting. And
Well, that cost me $1 million.
Yeah,
I mean, it did.
so-
But my
that's
whole
tough.
life, I felt like it was giving back to the community. They did so much.
Yeah.
Here, two other fathers and sons, or fathers and their daughters, 6 of us, 3 men and 3 daughters. We went to Riley Hospital.
Wow.
And made food for them.
Is that in Indy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went down there and grilled food for them.
Oh, wow.
I'm making a mess of your property here.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
It's the basement.
It is.
It's okay. Yeah. I think it's very important to love the place you work and care about the people around you. I think that's an important thing, is the community. So that's so cool.
Dan Boddicker.
Oh,
He's
wow.
the godfather of Bethany Christian.
Yeah.
So I went to his school and shaved his head.
That's
Here, this kid was dying of cancer. And so the principal, I went to the Goshen Middle School.
what was this? 2015. Okay,
yeah.
I remember seeing this on, I think, Facebook at the
Yeah.
time. Wow.
So I went to school and shaved that guy's
Wow.
head in front of the whole 6th grade class.
Yeah.
And then that boy ended up dying, which was sad.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'd go every year to school, to the middle school, and I'd talk on career day.
Yeah. Learning about it's a skill.
Yeah.
Cutting hair is a skill. I mean,
Yeah, but I could have stayed in the comfort of my 4 walls at
Right.
Doug Sports Cut, but
right.
got to get outside.
Yeah,
little
and let people know. And it probably helps also getting in the community. More people know about you, come into it, see the atmosphere, see what's going on, feel comfortable. Oh, I saw him here. And then you get to talk to him. There's something about that is, it's relationships. That's
Yeah.
what business is relationships. And yeah, that's important.
Oh, where do I go from here? I took a picture because I don't have any here with me. But at my shop, I stopped there on my way over to your place.
Yeah.
And I took a
Do
picture.
you still own it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to. I'm hopefully selling it soon. But anyways, back when George Bush Sr.
Okay.
was president, they came out with Desert Storm cards
Okay.
because of the war in Afghanistan and all that.
Were they the terrorists or were they the
No, it was
more like locations? Or?
it was the weapons of America,
Okay,
the tanks
okay.
and planes and whatever.
Gotcha.
But it had a card of President Bush, one of Colin Powell, of
Yeah.
the general, just of all these important people, Schwarzkopf.
Yeah.
Anyways, I called the White House because I'll call anybody. I call anybody. So I called the White House and I said, my name's Doug Shaffer. I want to invite President Bush to come to my shop and sign his Desert Storm card. It would be a great move for him with the upcoming election.
Yeah.
And so they said, well, you're going to have to put it in writing and send it to Ryan Jones. So I
Okay.
hung the phone up, called the White House right back and said, hi, my name's Doug Shaffer. Can I speak to Ryan Jones? I get Ryan Jones. Hey, Ryan, I have this barbershop baseball card store. I want President Bush come sign. Oh, you're going to have to put it in writing and send it to Sarah. So I hung the phone up, called Sarah.
No
and
way.
I did this 13 times till I got to, the head of presidential scheduling.
You worked your way through
I
government.
13. I'd have been arrested. If that was in 2023 or 4, they'd
Why's
come
this guy
arrest
keep
me. This
calling?
guy just keep calling. So anyways,
You were working through the government bureaucracy,
Oh, my
just
gosh.
going. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So anyways, he sends me a Desert Storm picture in a nice letter of declining coming to the visit because of his presidential schedule. But he autographed it and Barbara Bush autographed it.
No way.
And I have this letter from the White House, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
When I got in Sports Illustrated, on my wall, there's a picture of Joe Montana on the front cover of Tough Stuff. They did a story on my shop.
Wow.
And then Sports Digest.
Okay.
They did a story on my shop, and they put that that's hanging on the wall. I just was never afraid to call.
Yeah.
This is a letter to Bill. Bill's son was killed in the bombing of the Boston Marathon.
Oh.
And he lost his little boy, Martin. So I wrote him a letter. and told him how Martin, I'm so sorry for your loss of Martin. I hope and pray that God will heal your wife, daughter as quickly as possible. You had a great Boston Marathon race, but Martin won the race to see Jesus first. Stop by my shop for a free haircut.
Wow.
And so he never got back with me, but I had to do it.
Yeah.
When you get provoked to do something,
You just follow
you
those
have
into.
to. Yeah, I do. I don't sit back and think, boy, I wish I would have done that.
Because you can overthink those things too. You might as well just go in your gut feeling.
Follow your gut.
There's a reason why I followed it, and it's something to that. There's no coincidences,
Yeah.
There's something about that. What have you had famous people come into your shop? I'm sure there's a number of them.
Well, when Rick Meyer was playing for Notre Dame football,
Yeah.
he would come and he'd bring most of the football players.
Wow.
I'd cut their hair. One time I even went to the dorm and cut the hair. I went into the locker room with my oldest son, Brandon. Him and I went over, and Rick invited us into the locker room after they beat Navy, I think it was.
Mm.
And the running back from Detroit, his mom, the Super Bowl was in Detroit. He played for Pittsburgh Steelers. Not Reggie Bush. The big guy from Notre Dame. He played with Meyer. His mom made food, Super Bowl food for everybody.
No, I'll look it up. Detroit.
He played for Pittsburgh Steelers, the running back, but the Super Bowl was up in Detroit. He went to Notre Dame as a running back, but obvious it's before you.
Yeah.
He gave my son his gloves. Man, his fingers must have been about 9 inches long. They're the biggest gloves I've ever seen. All I can think of is Reggie Brooks, but it's not.
It's not him.
He's just a happy guy. Anyways, that'll come to me.
Jerome Bettis?
Jerome Bettis.
There we go. Yeah. So he gave his glove to your son. That's cool.
A set of gloves. That was fun to go there. But anyways, he came to my shop. I got to be good friends with Jamie Moyer.
Okay.
Sammy Sosa came to Pure Moran Mall.
No way.
Him
Fort
and
Wayne?
Jerome.
Is that Pure Moran? Is it Fort Wayne?
No, in Elkhart.
Oh, Elkhart.
It's not
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't exist anymore. But anyways, he came and signed autographs, and Moyer was married to Digger Phelps's daughter.
Okay.
So Jamie came, and I got to be friends with him, invited him to my shop for a haircut. Well, then we started hanging out, and he told Vince Turner that the reason that he liked me, I treated him like a person, not like a superstar.
Yeah.
I treated him like my friend.
Just a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he always loved that.
There's something too, like making someone feel human instead of, oh wow, I don't even know how to act around you.
Yeah.
Or, it's.
I cut Sean Kemp's hair.
Oh wow.
So here Sean Kemp went to Seattle to play pro basketball. Here I cut Rick Meyer's hair. He went to Seattle to play football. Here I got to be friends with Jamie Moyer. He goes to Seattle and pitches for Seattle.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah. It was a fun run. And I told you the only political thing I ever did was I went to see a Sarah Palin rally. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to get a T-shirt made that says Doug the Barber.
Yeah.
I said, do you want me to get you a T-shirt that says Tina, the respiratory therapist? No. Well, I go to Fort Wayne. I don't know how many it holds, 20,000, the Coliseum, whatever the number was. And I'm there, and Sarah Palin turns around, and she plays Vanna White. She says, yeah, and tonight we have Doug the Barber here. And that's when she
pulled this.
That's when I got that picture taken.
That's cool.
And
how'd she know that you were in the car? Someone told her?
No, she waved at me when we walked in.
Oh,
when she walked in,
she saw Doug the Barber.
And I waved, she waved.
And you just fist bumping. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
fun.
Yeah.
Just things like that. Yeah, you have all those. So you said your favorite sport growing up was baseball.
Yeah.
Right?
But I did them all.
You played them all. Yeah. What's your favorite sport? What would you say your favorite
Golf.
sports now? Golf, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a member of a country club around here?
I was, but not anymore. 18 years ago, I bought a house at Simonton Lake.
Okay.
And I decided I'd rather boat and fish.
Yeah.
And see good-looking women than see men in shorts with fat bellies.
Yeah, drinking beer.
Yeah, at the country club.
Yeah.
No, I like it, but
Yeah.
you can't. as a working adult, you can only do one or the other.
Right.
You just don't have time. Now that I'm retired, I can do it all.
Right. Yeah. Golf's had a massive resurgence with the younger generation. Like, I have 2 younger brothers, and that's all they talk about. All they do is
Really.
One specifically. I mean, he got a membership to a country club or a golf course, and he just is.
He's there every day,
every single day, 2, 3, as much as he can. He's golfing.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, you're young.
Single?
He's single.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can do that.
He's living at his mom and dad's house. And I mean, he just graduated high school. So he's just like, this is the time to go and enjoy that as much as you can.
So he's probably the best golfer he's ever been.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's better than anyone in our family. That's for sure. So I don't bet money around him.
Yeah, really? You're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. Golf is, man, I had another question I was going to ask you and it slipped through, but yeah, golf is good. You spend a lot of time in the community for the past 50 years, having people come in, doing all that stuff. And what have you seen with Goshen, from 89 to now? And you've been on 33. Was it as busy as it was? Was there
no?
Because I feel like Goshen's changed a lot. And I've just kind of wondered what that's been like being in that spot and watching Goshen grow really in the past.
It's awesome because I bought that shop for X amount of dollars and it's worth 5 times what I paid for it.
Yeah.
Which is, that's what you want to do.
That's the opportunist.
Yeah. But right next door to me is Big B Coffee.
Right.
That's incredible. 2 doors down is Culver's.
Right.
Both those properties are $1 million properties plus.
Right.
So all that can do is just elevate the value of my property, which was a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Crazy Mans. That's if you go the other way. That might deeply.
Yeah, that's changed hand a few times.
Yeah. So I just wondered what that was like. And I mean, I had Heather Tobias from the Oasis. Have you ever been to the Oasis?
Yeah.
She's great. She was talking to me a lot about how Goshen has shit, and it's positive. But she remembers like when she would go to the Oasis, and it's all right after the football games, or everyone was there. All of Goshen was in those places, and so I just have seen. I feel like Goshen is metamorphosizing into something else now, and I think it's positive. I just wondered what that's like because I've only been here since 94. That's when my family moved here when I was 2, and so I've seen some of that, but not maybe the scope that someone who's been barbering for 50 years.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good, positive growth, and then there's after football games, everybody went to a football game.
Right.
That's not the way it is today.
Yeah.
And that's sad to me because in my barbershop, it's changed over the 50 years. Saturday morning in my barbershop, oh my God, what about the game last night? Did you see what Fairfield did? Did you see how bad Concord beat?
Yeah.
And there's hardly any of it because hardly anybody goes.
Plugged in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing their own thing. That part of the family structure is a little bit sad in the community to me.
Yeah.
But I'm nailed into the sports end of it. So I see participation.
There's not really as much community. That's what I would say I've noticed.
Right.
In my this generation that I'm living in.
Yeah.
Is and it's almost so apparent when I go into the Amish world where you see that they're so tied into their community.
Yeah.
It's black and white. And I come back into my world, I'm like, oh yeah, we don't have what they have in some aspects. I wonder if we had that as a kind of small town feel.
Do you want an Amish story?
I would love an Amish story.
Okay, here it goes. My wife and I had our daughter. She's 1 year older than you, 33 years old. So we go to childbirthing class up at Goshen Hospital.
Yeah.
And I'm not a shy guy. I talk to anybody. Again, I told you I don't care what color, how fat. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
So we go there, and there's a couple Amish couples. And I had to wear that, I forget, that big belly thing.
Yeah.
As soon as I put that on, I instantly had to pee like women.
Just push it, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, we get to be friends with these Amish. So they would come to our house, these 3 couples, or 2 couples, and then us made the third. They'd come to our house once every 8 months, 6 months, and then we'd go to their house. We had a swimming pool, and they would come in, and the men would wear bathing suits that looked like 1950, but they wore bathing suits.
Yeah.
And they could swim, but they swam next to the edge. I didn't want them drowned.
Yeah.
And then the women would jump in the pool with their dresses on, with shorts on underneath.
Oh, wow.
So they came over a few times to our Goshen house that had the pool. Well, we bought the lake house September 12th. I wouldn't buy it on 9/11, so I bought on 9/12.
Yeah.
I bought on 9/12/2005. And so we invited them up to the lake house. Yeah. And I said, now listen, when you come to our lake house, I said, I know you Amish when you go down to Sarasota. I know you put on bathing suits down there. You get out of town. I said, what you going to wear when you come up here? Now, these are the Amish families. They've grown. They have 5 kids each or whatever.
Yeah.
And they know us very well. The kids, everybody's setting, these 3 families setting together. And they said, no, we'll wear suits up to your lake house now. I said, well, good. I said, can you do me a favor? And I dressed Junior's, Hostetler's wife, Sarah. I addressed her. I said, Sarah, will you do me a favor, though? When you come, please don't wear a thong bathing suit. And I'm telling you, the whole Amish.
Oh, they died.
The men and women just rolled.
That's awesome.
But that's just the way it is in life. Just have fun.
Yeah. Just enjoy. Yeah, the Amish, they're sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they don't get haircuts, or at least I've heard they just put a bowl on their head. And
Hoosier Hardwoods.
Okay.
2 doors, 3 doors down from my shop.
Yeah.
I cut the Amish guy's hair. I cut his 2 boys' hair. They were in Rumspring and whatever.
Yeah.
I cut their hair, and he had to get his hair cut. So I cut his hair like the last 6 months. He didn't let his Amish wife do it. I did it at Doug's Sports Cut.
No way.
It was cool because I did an Amish haircut 50 years ago, and I sucked. I mean, I could not. I did a horrible job.
Yeah, didn't do it proper the way that they wanted.
No,
was that in Wakarusa? Because that's
Wakarusa.
Wakarusa's got a lot of Amish too. So
yeah,
that's a lot of fun. I'm going back to a little bit of like Goshen community. I was at a Rotary meeting, and at the Rotary meeting they had the Goshen football coach come in and talk, and I think there was at one time. I mean, from my understanding, Goshen was a football town.
Oh, like they won the state in. My brother-in-law was a field goal kicker for Goshen, then Purdue, and then Tampa Bay Bandits.
Wow.
They won it in 1981, and then Rick Meyer won it in 1991, 10 years later.
Yeah, and you see them when you drive by the high school. You see went to state here, went to state there. And he was talking at the Rotary meeting. This was maybe, within the last year, talking about how they can't get enough kids.
They don't come out.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Goshen players year in, year out, generation after generation, have moved to Fairfield, Northridge.
Yeah. The schools, I think there's also an emphasis on football in those schools as opposed to Goshen. Like there is in the middle school league here.
Yeah.
And so if you want to play football, you have to wait till high school, and you're already at a disadvantage versus all the schools around here
they had hundreds of players that played Pee Wee football, junior football league at Goshen.
Right.
And
it's just changed.
It's changed.
Yeah, so I wonder if those are all pieces of the puzzle to, as you're saying, people coming in on Saturday and they don't talk about that as much. No. Or, it's also the internet. People are kind of wrapped up in their own thing. And
there's not hardly any reporting on Friday night
of
games. There still is a little bit, but it's nothing like it used to be.
Or you could turn on the radio and listen to it. I remember doing that as a kid, and just the local stuff. You know, you could find different things. And yeah. Now, you probably could find stuff, but you have to figure out what the website is and go to some place that's not as accessible as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, but you have to know it. It's not just like turn on the radio and catch it. So
it's still a good community.
Yeah,
it still is. I love Indiana, but not so much in the winter.
Yeah, I think that's now. When you retire, are you guys snowbirding at all? Is that
we bought a motor home and we traveled for 4.5 months.
Okay, yeah,
we had a heck of a run there. That was incredible. And we might do My mom and dad are in the nursing home, and my wife's mom's in the nursing home.
Yeah.
Well, my dad, that was hard to be away. We were gone for 4.5 months, and my wife was she did all the check writing for her mom. She was the head of the estate, and it was hard to do that from Florida or Louisiana, wherever we were. So we thought about possibly even selling our motorhome and waiting for 4 years or 5, whenever our parents die, then buy it and
keep going.
Because we can leave now for 2 or 3 weeks and come back, but I don't feel like we can leave for 2 or 3 months.
Right. Yeah.
So I think we're going to do. There's some great cruises that you can go for 2 weeks all over the world.
Yeah.
Very, very reasonable. So we might do that for the next few years.
Go see this place or that place. Cruises are enjoyable, as long as you got. I worked at Minnow Travel for a couple of years downtown Goshen, and so you get to learn kind of what the good ones are and the ones that are not so good. So,
When we were traveling, I just retired October.
Yeah.
In November, we spent a lot of time. We took off and went to Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and then we stayed a lot in Georgia. We love Georgia. All the islands along the coast.
Oh, yeah.
So we're leaving Georgia.
There's like one island where there's like wild horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we'd leave there, and I said to my wife, we'd been on 22 cruises, and I said, Tina, do you want to go on a cruise? We're sitting out having breakfast. She just shakes her head because she knows that she's with me. She's going to have a good time. She says, whatever. So I called Carnival. We'd been on 22 Carnival cruises. So I called them. I said, hey, do you have a cruise coming up soon? Oh, yeah, we've got one leaving out of Cape Canaveral tomorrow, and there's one room left.
Oh, wow.
And so we go because when you go at the last minute, you get it for nothing.
Yeah.
So her and I went for a week cruise for $332 for the two of us. That was the port taxes, because if nobody came on that cruise in that room steward wouldn't have made a penny.
Yeah.
At the dining table number 162, if nobody was eating there, that dining room waiter made nothing.
Yeah.
So they needed us on there.
Yeah. And they're going to pay for it probably anyways, and all those. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went on that cruise, and we had.
Would you go to the Bahamas, or where was
everywhere,
it? Yeah.
all the islands.
Yeah.
You ought to see my basement. I have all these plates lined up of all these different islands that I've been.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's cool. I mean, to have a plate from Grand Cayman, from Dominican Republic, and
Nassau. What's there?
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Just all of them.
My wife and I lived in Cape Canaveral for 3 months.
So
we went. We when we first got married, we thought, let's get an Airbnb for 3 months in the middle of winter. Just have a blast. This is going to be, instead of a honeymoon, let's live in Florida.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see those ships coming in and out too. Like, they're huge. 10,000 people on a ship.
See, when I saw you tonight, I knew that you and I were going to get along from when we talked.
Yeah.
But I had no idea that your wife's as nice as you are.
Yeah, she's fun.
I mean, it's too bad we don't have a third mic here. She'd be chiming in.
She's quiet, but she has good things to say here and there.
Yeah.
Now, my daughter would be speaking the most, probably. She likes to have all the attention.
I don't know if you want me to show you.
Keep showing. This is great.
Goshen College. I'd shaved that guy's head for a fundraiser.
College, yeah.
Lyle Miller. His son is
That's awesome.
Oh, he's a disabled young man.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's 30. And he's their voice of their sports.
No way.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, I cut his hair when he was a little boy.
That's awesome.
Here's the George Bush where I invited him. And that's his Desert Storm car down there. I don't know if you can see that very well.
Yeah. In the lower left-hand corner.
Here's the Siamese twins.
Oh, there.
That was the first. That was the first month I cut hair.
Wow. So they're conjoined.
Yeah, and they're still alive.
Wow.
They're the oldest living.
You saw them at the fair, and then
I invited them to our shop. Oh my God!
And then everybody came. I'm sure.
Yeah, you're gonna crap at this is when. I bought 11,000 Sammy Sosa rookies. That was in every paper, the Goshen News, the Elkhart News, South Bend Tribune. Yeah. That's the Chicago Sun-Time.
And did you put them in the sleeves too? Like,
Oh, yeah.
are you real particular on how you do your? Yeah, because you want to keep them at. Because there's grades.
Cars are
levels.
like automobiles.
Okay.
If you take care of your automobile, it's worth a lot more than if you have dirt and inside and mud.
Dings and cuts and scratches.
I had my door was open in the springtime, and a hummingbird came in.
No way.
He was there for like 8 hours. I couldn't get him to go out.
No.
And he just kept flying. I thought he was going to die. So I went next door and got this pot of flowers for the next door business. Yeah. And I brought it in so the hummingbird could sit and land and eat.
Oh, wow.
So that was, I mean, who has a hummingbird story?
Yeah, right?
This is a magazine, LeBron James, called Stack. And I'm cutting hair one day, and Casey Looker says, Doug, what did your football sign say? I said, cheaters exit here. He said, you're in this magazine.
Wow.
So I had Colts season tickets. And here is the sign that I'm holding up at the Colts game.
This is the New York's time. New York's time?
This is at Indianapolis.
Okay.
So I told him, I said, you get ready. When Tom Brady comes off the field, you're going to crap on this one. It was October 18th, 2015. Here is Tom Brady. I told the cameraman, I said, get ready, because I had it cheaters exit here, and that was during Deflategate.
Yep. That was a big deal.
That was in there. Here it was in Fox Sports on
everywhere.
Yeah, I can't even tell.
And you knew that if you saw him coming, you just pulled it down. And
here was the first one I made. That's Bill Belichick.
BillBelichick.com.
When he got caught, Spygate.
Did he see it?
Oh, yeah.
Did he come and laugh? That's
what
that is, right? That's where he's...
it was...
My word.
That sign is at the Colts. Vince Turner is doing a book on Doug the Barber.
Yeah.
And he
does the state of he does with Nick Shaffer. They do something together at the, I forget what, downtown Goshen. The business... Yeah. What is it?
Chamber
of Commerce. That's what it is. State of Goshen.
So, I've cut his hair forever. And so...
He's doing a little...
Yeah,
that's
him
awesome.
and I we'll finish up the book this summer, and then this fall it'll be published.
Okay.
And so that's going to be the front cover of the book.
Doug the Barber.
That's crazy. So this is from my barber school. When I got in Sports Illustrated, he was so proud. So he gave me a nice letter inside, and then he sent a Sports Illustrated to have me autograph it so he could hang it in my barber school. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So here, this is, I try anything. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I don't always win, but I try.
Yeah.
And so I sent a letter to Arsenio Hall. That was a TV show, a nighttime talk show. Uh-huh. And I didn't get on it, but I tried. Here's People Magazine. This is Sports Illustrated that did the story on my shop. This is, I did Geraldo. He had a shop.
Wow.
Or a store.
Yeah.
Show.
Geraldo Rivera.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're just sending stuff out and seeing what?
Yeah, I send it to anybody.
Well, and what sticks? And
here's Rick Meyer.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you a funny one about Rick. So I was in Sports Illustrated June 18th, 1990, and he was on September 24th, 1990.
Wow.
So I was on in June.
A couple months later, he's on it.
So he comes in, and I shove it up his butt. I said, hey, Rick. I said, nice. I said, you got in Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
I said, too bad I beat you. He said, yeah, Doug, but I got it on the front cover. He shoved it up mine. Yeah. It was.
That's fun.
It was just so much fun.
Yeah,
just the run of it all.
Yeah.
Here's Arsenio Hall, Johnny Carson, David Letterman, Oprah.
So you would just sit there and be like, I should,
right.
Right. And then would you then sit out and kind of think about the ones you want to send to, then get the information, and then send it?
Yeah, I'd send them to Sports Illustrated, ask them if they wanted to do a story. Yeah. What could they say?
Yeah.
Then
worst they could say is no, and I mean, what's that to you? You know? Yeah.
I called Sports Illustrated. They did a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's awesome. History Detectives. I called them about my Babe Ruth baseball bat.
Okay, which is this, right?
Yes. And this is a letter I sent to President Bush.
Now,
when he was the president.
the Babe Ruth baseball bat, is this just something you found, or how did you?
A lady called me from South Bend,
Okay.
and she said she had a half a dozen baseball bats that she was interested in selling. And she said, and one of them says Babe Ruth. I said, when can you bring him in? She says, I can't. I said, what do you mean? She says, I've never left my neighborhood. She was like 75 to 80.
Wow.
She was an older woman.
Yeah.
She says, I've never left my neighborhood. I said, well, where do you live? And she gave me the address. So I drove over that night. She found him in her attic. She's on the west side of town.
Okay.
In the worst area.
Yeah.
She wouldn't let me in her house. It's so pathetic. We're sitting on her front porch, and she hands me a bat. I grab it with my left hand, and I look at it and put it in my right hand. My left hand's black.
Wow.
Sooty.
Black.
It was in an attic for 50 years.
Wow.
He played in South Bend in 1926, 28, and 1940.
Wow.
Well, this was 2000, whatever, 25.
It was just.
Yeah, it was amazing. So
nuts.
I said, listen to me. Every American that plays baseball, in the bedroom, in the corner of the basement, or in the corner of the garage, they have baseball bats, balls, and gloves.
Right.
They have all their baseball stuff together. I said, if you got those bats, her grandson got them out of the attic. I said, up in the attic, there's going to be balls and mitts.
Yeah. Was there?
She said, well, there isn't. It must have been 5 to 10 years later, she calls me. And she says, Doug, she was poor.
Yeah.
I gave her money for her stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, listen to me. God has blessed me. I said, if you need food, let me know. I'll bring it to you.
Right.
Not that I'm Mr. Wonderful, but I brought her food, I don't know, 20 times in the next 20 years.
Yeah.
And I get the call, and she says, Doug, you were right. She says, there's balls. I got 4 balls and a mitt. And one of the mitt has writing on it. And I said, I'll be over after work tonight. I went over there, or one of the balls had writing on it.
Right.
And I get over there, and I said, are these the balls? She said, oh, yeah. Excuse me. She says, I washed them because they were so sooty.
Oh,
she washed the autograph off.
Oh, no.
I have the balls, and I don't know if one was signed by Babe Ruth. The Babe Ruth baseball bat was there. Then there was a left-handed, a right-handed mitt.
Yeah.
Okay? Babe Ruth was left-handed. He threw left-handed.
Yeah. So there's
I said, where's the mitt? Oh, Doug, it was so bad, I just threw it away.
Oh, no.
And I was an idiot. I was an absolute, usually I'm sharp.
Yeah.
That moment I wasn't sharp because she said, usually, she told me that she threw it away, and I was so heartbroken that she could have threw Babe Ruth's mitt away. I should have went dumpster diving.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have, but I was just so shook up that she washed the balls
and
then threw the mitt away.
Why?
So, yeah. So I have these other bats, and one of the bats is by a former player. And, yeah, it's incredible, the things that I have there. There was a girl that affected my life in Wakarusa. She went to Bethany Christian.
Okay.
And this is a letter. Again, I was a doer in life. I didn't sit around. So I wrote a letter to Unsolved Mysteries that I wanted them to do a story on the unsolved mystery.
Of this girl in Wakarusa?
Yeah, I asked her mom and dad if I could do that, and they said yes, and so that's what I did.
Carrie Noonamaker.
Yep, she was beautiful. It was sad. It was so sad.
Really?
And I just tried it. I mean, that's
Did they do anything with it or
no?
But
they did solve it then.
Did they?
The DNA. There was a guy that was in prison out in California. The
Wow.
DNA matched, and
That's unfortunate.
so that affected me
So the whole community probably saw it too.
Yeah.
And felt
Oh my gosh. So I would not buy my daughter a car that the door locks didn't automatically lock, because she was at a railroad crossing, they think, and somebody jumped in the passenger side.
Oh my word.
And so that was an absolute must. I was not going to get my daughter a car unless it locked.
Yeah.
So
Oh my goodness.
before your day, when I was 10, 11, 12, that was the Palm Sunday tornado. It's the most famous. I cut that guy's hair.
Is this 33?
Yeah.
Is this like?
Yeah, that's right down from my shop, half a
My
mile.
word.
Yeah, right by Peddler's Village.
Right past Green Road, and I can show the camera. That's crazy. So that was a tornado. I remember the ones that went through Napanee.
Yeah.
We weren't.
You know
supposed
what? You know what they did in Napanee? They had so many helpers. That's what kind of community we live in.
Right.
You talk about that?
Right.
They came over to Napanee, and they met, I think, at the high school, and they were bussing people around. In one day, it was cleaned up.
Wow.
I mean, the community just stepped up.
Rallied around. And,
yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I was a young kid. We went and drove around. I remember driving around and seeing. They said, "Don't go, don't look," but you can't help it. You want to go see what happened. But we were going to church. We were going to church in Napanee Missionary when I was younger.
That's where I went.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if you know Scott Ingbrick.
Yeah.
Son of Dave.
I used to cut Scott's hair.
Yeah. Scott and I are good buddies.
Oh, are you?
So yeah. He's a great dude.
He's a good guy.
He's great. But I remember driving, and you'd still see the houses. Let's go back to the Amish. But the Amish, they built their houses like it was months, and they had their stuff back, and then you'd still see the other, the English houses.
Yeah.
Still, they're waiting on insurance. They're waiting to get adjusted. So just kind of interesting. I remember seeing that.
Oh, them throw a barn up in no time.
Oh my word! Yeah, that's fun.
Well, I showed you that picture of the Babe Ruth baseball.
Yeah,
I showed you that.
And you got that not from the lady. That's something you just purchased.
Oh, that was I bought from Reverend Venus Arnold.
Okay.
I got that in 2014.
Yeah.
So I've got one of his 714 home runs.
Wow.
And then the Babe Ruth bat, and then the Jackie Robinson autograph. Those are three of my favorite things I've ever got.
Wow. And those are just kind of come. Did you go to shows to get that stuff, or is it just kind of as it came? It kind of came to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told the guy that had the Jackie Robinson autograph, don't sell it.
Yeah.
I said, man, your dad got it in 1949, your father-in-law.
Yeah.
I said, don't sell it. Well, one day before I retired, he wanted to sell it, and I made him an offer he couldn't.
Yeah.
So that was my first haircut, June 22nd, 1974. That's my last day. That was hanging up in my shop. It's folded in half. Here's that last haircut that you saw.
Same guy.
Yep. Still had as much hair. Just first one he had black hair, and the last one he had gray hair.
That's fun.
And then this is Doug the Barber. That's the book. That's the chapters of what.
In the beginning, Super Bowl, Cheers, exit here.
So you haven't seen that stuff yet.
Yeah. The special love for America's pastime. Here comes the Irish. Cutting for a cause. Are you seeing anyone? Letters. He writes letters. That's fun.
Yep.
Oh,
I wrote letters to Tiger Woods. I wrote him twice. I wrote people letters all the time.
So this is the Super Bowl.
Sarah Palin rally. So I got her autograph, and then Time Magazine did just a clip of mentioning Doug the Barber in there.
Wow. That's fun. Oh, yeah, that's fun.
So I showed you Boddicker. This is two kids that they held the Babe Ruth bat, and they thought that it gave them good luck.
In Little Leagues.
Yeah.
Derek DeMeyer.
And I showed you that.
Jacob Biller. 2007. Wow.
Cards by the bushel. That's 11,000.
Well, yeah, that's when you bought the. Do you think they'll ever get them into the Hall of Fame or no? But it's just never gonna. Probably too late now.
If it opens up, there's been speculation. If it opens up, I'm talking to him.
Do you still have the 11,000 rookie cards hanging out somewhere?
Yeah.
You can't get rid of those. I'm sure they're worth more than 11 cents or 7 cents now. So
after I did the Sarah Palin thing, this was a Doug the Barber, another Doug the Barber.
that's interesting because you see the bad recession and Right.
There's Doug the barber that's when I was at the.
Joe the plumber gets a little company. Yeah. Doug the barber. Oh wow. Yeah. Did you feel a dip when the economy took a tank in 2008?
Yeah, you did. What you would see is people would cut their kids' hair, but the parents, being professionals, still get their hair cut. But
gotcha.
I worked 60 hours a week, so I had a really, really good business.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun.
I was listening to this article recently because everything in the news is always fear-based. You know, it's always something bad's going to happen. And they're talking about AI and artificial intelligence. Yeah. And I said AI to someone recently, and they said artificial insemination. I'm like, no. I was talking to a farmer.
That must have been an older guy like me.
Yeah, it was. I was like, but artificial intelligence, and they said the worst job for the job that AI is taking over in droves right now is a researcher. So like a PhD researcher who spent his whole life or her whole life trying to learn how to like study and analyze data and compile it. AI is doing that so quickly that they're literally laying them off in droves for doctorates, masters, all that stuff. The most secure job is a barber because AI can't cut a hair, you know? And it's just kind of, it's just kind of interesting how that flip has happened. And I know, you know, that's something that everyone needs is a haircut. It's a service. It's a need.
Yeah, it is. And it was so much fun. My gosh. The customers that I had, you know, I had everything. You when you cut that many people's hair for 50 years, you cut every walk of life. Yeah, it was really awesome.
Is it like, if I get into the nitty gritty of hair, there's different textures, there's and it's probably, you know, you're cutting hair, but you're solving a problem differently each time. I'm assuming based on the person's hair, because maybe the cowlick goes like this, and it's coarsier.
Yeah. Look at a black person's hair.
Yeah.
It's entirely different. I mean, it's curly, it's whatever.
Right.
And I wasn't very good at the beginning because I hardly cut any black people's hair.
Yeah.
But the end of the second half of my career,
there's a lot more. And then you just kind of learn, and it's repetition and understanding.
I cut hair at Basher Home for like 25 years. So I did a lot of everybody there.
Yeah.
And then I went to jail and cut hair at jail for, 20 years. And so I cut a lot of people's hair there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you just do that because, or there was a need for it?
Both.
Or, okay.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
And what I liked is for the people in jail to feel special.
Yep.
You know, I treated them like a customer. I treated them like a queen or a king.
Right.
You know, I didn't treat them like a inmate.
Right.
Yeah, I just...
How do you want your hair to look? How do you want it to... Yeah.
Right.
And a good haircut can really change the way people even perceive you.
Right.
You know, you see transformation videos on social media of someone who's homeless and they're like this, and then they get a haircut and the guy goes in and does it. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those, but it's crazy, the night and day difference sometimes.
Yeah, I was cutting a young guy's hair. There were 3 young guys that were in there for murder. And I'm talking like 16, 17.
Wow.
And they come up for a haircut, and can you do this? Can you do this? And can you do this? And I kept doing it. And finally I said, I got a question. He said, what's that? I said, are you going to the prom this weekend? I mean, because it was like, holy moly.
What the level they wanted.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I couldn't take it anymore. Hey, you going to the prom this weekend?
They're like, the next person I'm going to murder is Doug the Bart. No, but
yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Do you miss cutting hair at all?
I miss the people.
Yeah.
I miss them terribly.
Because it wasn't really, that was the vehicle to have relationships with individuals. You know,
I'd go to work at 5 in the morning, 4:30, and I'd work till 6 at night. I did that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Then Thursday and Saturday, I'd go in early like that, but I would get off at 1. So I worked like 60 hours a week in cutting hair, not counting afterwards and paying bills and da-da-da. But, you know, I did that up till I worked till I was 3 days shy of 70.
Wow.
working 60 hours a week, but it kept you young.
Yeah. Gets you moving.
The energy. Yeah, it's just.
When you first got into it, did you think this was going to be your full-time job for the rest of your life? Once you started back in 73, you're like, I could see, because,
Yeah, once I got started, I knew that was it.
This was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved it.
Then you're like, how do I just keep getting more people in and connecting with individuals? And
Yeah, it was a fun run. But it's hard, too, though, because over a 50-year span, you cut so many people's hair. You cut somebody's hair from the time they were born till they graduated from high school, and then they moved away.
Right.
Okay? Well, I might run into them later, and it's like, so many people that it's...
Yeah, what's your name again? Yeah, that is
Gosh,
tough. Yeah.
It is.
I'm a face person. Like if I see someone's face, I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I try to keep it like, hey man, how's it going? I don't want to say their name because I know I'm gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
It's not in the memory bank anymore. It's gone. It's been deleted for new space. I need new space, and
The guy that owned Massey Ferguson farm equipment in Wakarusa taught me that second year, Kenny Miller. He said, yeah, Doug, he said, I was selling this guy a tractor, and I didn't know what his name was. And I said to him, now, how do you spell your last name? And he said, well, just like yours, Miller. How do you spell your last name?
How do you spell your last name?
So,
crap.
Learn not to do that. You learn a lot from customers.
Yeah.
Fat woman, you never ask them.
They're what? You're right.
Are you pregnant? When's your baby due?
Right.
I'm not pregnant. You'll do that. If you do it, you'll do it one time and you'll never do it again.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it?
No, but I can imagine
Yeah. If you could learn something from tonight,
don't do that.
Don't ask a heavy set
woman.
Right.
I can. I've been. I feel like I've been in a situation like that. You get into awkward situations like, oh my word, how do I live from this? And
I always tell my family, my customers, just tell the truth.
Yeah.
That's the simplest thing. Just tell the truth.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
You can't lie and dig a hole and lie again, dig a deeper hole. And
I remember this. I was at a sales conference and I saw someone I knew, and I'd known them from other things, and they had a nanny with them, and I knew that they were pregnant, had a kid. These people that I knew, there's this couple, and I didn't see them, but I saw their nanny and the kid, and I wondered if that was their kid, but I didn't see them together. So then later on in the conference, this couple comes and like, hey, how's it going? Is your nanny a heavier set woman? And then they're like, and then they told me, and then I'm sitting there like, I can't believe I just like called their nanny fat but I was trying to make the connection, but then I come back and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm not going to get that sale. They're going to remember me as the person who called their nanny fat. Stuff like that.
It happens.
It
just happens.
It wasn't as bad as asking if she was pregnant, but it still is pretty.
So how old are you?
32.
Oh, that's right. You were 32.
Yeah. So
you'll have a wonderful life.
Yeah.
And you got a great wife. It's peers anyways.
Yeah. I enjoy the stuff I'm doing. That's exciting too. And I think I'm a very relational person too. I really love talking to people, and I'm sure it's the same for you. If you walk downtown Goshen on a first Friday, you're saying hey to everyone. Yeah. You can't stop.
Where do you work at?
I work for a nonprofit on Green Road, so not super far from you, called Bible Memory. Yeah. And so they do summer camps all over the U.S. And so camp counselor. I do their accounting and marketing and IT stuff, but during the summer I play a lot of dodgeball, that's fun. So I have a real heart for the youth and the next generation and spend time with them. But then also podcasting on the side. And I was in sales for 6 years, and so I know cold calling. I've done a lot of that, and it's really good. I like that conversation piece, learning how to interact with someone cold and warming them up and just talking to them and understanding their problems and helping find a solution. And those are just things that are...
All right, here it goes. If you run into a dead end in life...
Okay.
Because maybe this job will not work out or whatever. If you ever run into a dead end, there's a barber school in Elkhart. And your passion, to me, for people is exactly like mine. And I can't imagine you being anything but happy.
Just cutting hair and talking to people. Yeah.
Just talking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cutting is the sideline. So if you ever get to that position in life,
when
I said that.
When AI takes my job, right?
Yeah, when you take your job, start going to, before it happens, go to barber school part-time.
Yeah.
Because if you go half-time, it'll take you maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
But God, you're young.
Yeah.
And you would have a wonderful life and whatever.
Well, and I
you
think
have a wonderful life now.
one of the things you said too was you got this you said I work these days and a half day these days. You could probably get to set your hours. You probably get to have a lot of control being your own boss. And
my son was 8, 9, 10, and he looked me in the eye and he said, "Dad, why don't you work on Monday and take Saturdays off?" I made the least amount of money on Saturdays because I only worked till 1 o'clock.
Right.
I really should have worked Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And then been with the family Saturday and Sunday like the rest of the world.
Yeah. But only certain people could get off on Saturday, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, they'd have to get their haircut somewhere else.
Yeah. Did you have a book of business that you had these recurring customers, and did you have it like they'd have to schedule, or did you take walk-ins? What was that kind of flow?
I did not have walk-ins.
Yeah, so they had to do.
I didn't have time.
Yeah,
yeah,
appointment only.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a good run. I had them trained. After 50 years, you have them trained.
Yeah,
so people would know to call a few days ahead or a couple of days ahead.
Right, figure out when your slots were.
But I wasn't booked up for a month in advance.
Yeah.
I had maybe a third of my clients would get their haircut and make it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks down the road.
They were reoccurring. They could figure it out. Yeah. All right. I have one last question because I know these chairs are kind of.
You do whatever.
Yeah, kind of a pain at sometimes. But you got to see, and maybe it's not over yet, but there was a boom in the sports card world.
Oh my God.
Right after COVID.
There was a boom when I started.
Really?
Yeah. In 1990, there was a huge boom. I couldn't have timed it any better then. But then during COVID, that was a second boom. And it all started with Michael Jordan coming out with that show.
Oh, The Last Dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was when everything kicked.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you have people coming in for sports cards during that time? Yeah.
Yeah. But see, I was winding down my career, and I really had to up my card portion of my business.
Yeah.
But I was on Easy Street. I always based my livelihood on my hair cutting.
Yeah.
So the cards was extra. I did not want to be cutting your hair and have a card guy come in. Hey, Doug, do you have a Honus Wagner rookie? Or
right.
I didn't want that because you were the most.
You were the important thing.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't be distracted.
I did not want that card thing. So that dictated the loss of customers. You know, I'd have had to hire somebody. But again, I was on Easy Street.
Yeah.
You know, I was on Easy Street.
And it was kind of like it filled in as it needed. And probably if they really wanted to talk to you, they should have got a haircut. And then they could have chatted with you, right? Yeah. You know, that's the key in.
Yeah.
And
They screwed up.
Yeah. No, it's fun. I wondered. I knew there was this massive, kind of right after COVID, like a lot of money went into the sport. It grew. Like people were really trading at a pretty high volume,
and people really went to graded cards.
Mm-hmm.
Everything had to be graded.
And
I had sold. Man, the last year before I retired, one guy came in and bought all my cards.
Really?
All my cards.
Wow.
And then somebody'd come in and I'd buy this collection or that collection. And I know that I sold chunks of cards the last week. I sold a guy a nice amount.
Just because it was the perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran into the guy that bought a whole bunch of cards that last week, and he was one that bought my Mickey Mantle rookie when I went to the show in 1990 in Chicago. Mickey Mantle autographed that case. You know that case I showed you with the dollars in?
Yeah.
I had that hard case, and I didn't want him to sign the card, so he signed the case, Mickey Mantle.
Wow.
And I sold it to this guy. He then sent it in to get graded, and somebody switched the cards. But it happened to me. I would never, ever send a card in ever again. I had a Tiger Woods rookie card. It was from Kids Sports Illustrated that there were hardly any.
Right.
So this was very valuable. And if this was a card, my phone, it had a little bit of yellow on one side.
Right.
I sent it in to get graded. I got it back, and it was on two sides completely. They switched my card.
Wow.
They switched it out, and they kept the better of the card.
And sent you back the crappier one. Yeah.
And I would never.
How do you trust them? How do you know if you don't?
Now I know. I had customers do that. Yeah. I told them, don't send a card in. Go to the national show. Right. They have it once a year. It's usually January of every year.
Yeah. And have them do it there.
Yeah.
You can watch it.
That's right.
Because you could be losing thousands of dollars or more if someone's switching it on you.
Yeah.
So we've done an hour and 15 minutes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
I'm thankful for you having me.
Yeah.
It's just nice to have met you. You're a great guy.
Oh,
and I wish you the best of luck in life.
I appreciate it.
I know you're going to be a winner.
Yeah.
You just do. You know people. You got to be a winner.
Yeah.
Your wife will slap the crap out
Yeah,
of you.
she'll beat me.
Yeah.
She'll beat me. It's not good.
No, you got a good wife. And
yeah. I'm very blessed. And the gut thing, there's some of that where I've just gone on intuition. And I felt some stuff, and I think it's God's direction on different things.
It is.
And
and if you go the wrong way,
it's not over. There will be a course correction. Now, you may have to do some learning on it, going the wrong way, but I found that, I think I know the best way, and then I get corrected back into the right path. And it's painful, but sometimes I just follow my gut a little bit better that way,
I look back at my life because, like I said, I'm 70 years old, and I think every year I've tried to be a better Doug Shaffer. Because when I look back when I was your age, shame on Doug for a couple things here or there, But I've tried to be a better person each year. And I think if you can do that, instead of going the other direction, keep moving to the right direction, try to do better. And that's what can you ask of yourself? No.
Put responsibility on yourself to be better. There's something about that. You can grow. Yeah. You improve. I did just remember a question I had for you.
Yeah.
So you said you met your wife here in Goshen.
Yeah.
Back in, I'm guessing in the 70s is when you guys met. Did they have the cruise-ins down here, downtown? That still a big thing?
That's not where I met her.
Oh, really?
I met her at my shop.
Oh,
so
really?
Do you really want to know how I met her?
So tell me this.
Okay. So I don't have Doug's Sports Cut yet. I was working in Elkhart in Dunlap. And we had a barber shop, a beauty shop, and we had a tanning bed. We were the first company in Elkhart County to have tanning salon.
Wow.
So I'm cutting hair, and I see this good-looking blonde come down the hallway. I see her walking, and I stop cutting hair to do a little stare at her.
Yeah.
And I look at the clock. It's 10:30 in the morning. So I write down 10:30. I finish cutting hair that day, get done at 6. So I'm the owner of the shop with this guy. Him and I are partners. So I walked to the back to see who came in at 10:30. And I saw who it was. And so I went home that night. Hey, can I speak to Tina? And so her mom gets her on the phone. I said, Tina, my name's Doug Shaffer, and I'm the owner of the shop you came to today. And I wondered, how was your visit? Did you think the salon was clean? Did you feel comfortable with that? And I talked business for about 4 minutes, and then we talked for about 3 hours after that.
No way.
And that was it.
Did she see you when she walked through, or was she?
No.
No, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So she had to see me the next
time. Who's this guy I talked to for so long? That's awesome.
So that is how we met.
Yeah.
I love that story.
That's a great story.
But you have to be attracted to somebody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You don't.
A very important piece of the whole puzzle. I think it's a very important piece. So.
Yeah, it's very important.
That's cool. Well, Doug, I really appreciate you coming on and telling me these stories. You've got memories and tons of different things, that you've done in the past years, and Goshen has been blessed to have you.
And I'm blessed to have been here for that many years. I really have. It's just been a wonderful run, and I'm thankful for everything. I'm a very thankful person.
Yeah.
Give it 180% in life, and that's all you can ask of yourself.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people, who are maybe just starting in life or trying to also build something that's kind of a legacy thing, or, I don't know. You've dropped out a lot of advice on this podcast already, so.
There's a person that wants to buy my shop, and her and her husband came in. I talked to him, and I met him for the second time. I met him 8 months ago. And anyways, I talked to her 5 days ago. I said, I want to tell you something. I don't care about your money. I don't care. I said, all I care is that you're successful. I don't want to sell this to you and walk away, get my money, and say, see ya.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
And I will be here if you want it. If you don't need it, you won't call me. And so I met her tonight because I needed her name and address and a few other things for a contract. And she was so thankful that she could reach out to me. Not on how to cut hair.
Right.
Not that at all. It's all about the life, what she needs to do. And I told her, you're 51. You're not 21 and out chasing, trying to find the man of your dreams. You've got your man.
Mm-hmm.
You now have, from now, you've never owned your shop. And you're on the verge of buying your shop. And you have from 51 till you retire at 67. You have 16 years to set your legacy.
Yeah.
To set a precedent for you and your husband. You can buy the shop, pay it off. You can pay your house off. And then at 67, you can live happily ever after.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I just, it isn't about the money. If you work for the money, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you take care of the business, the money will follow.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, you can't neglect it.
No.
But
No.
Now, I see. Yeah, you also want the next person to take over your spot to be successful too, because you've spent so much time there, and there's been so much that's like, yeah.
The Doug Shaffer legacy is over. As far as the barbershop.
Yeah.
She's gonna, if she buys it, she's gonna name it a different salon.
Oh yeah.
It will still be a haircutting place, but
hopefully it has a baseball diamond in the dugout. Okay.
It's going to be bigger and better. What
and
the
better.
heck?
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not
awesome.
the only good haircutting barber
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not.
Then AI might have a chance at being better barbers. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah. That's really very cool.
Yeah. Anybody, when I see people that are like you, like me, I think, gosh, if something happens in your occupation where it goes sour, man, go to school and cut hair.
Yeah.
Because it's you'll come home, and when you come home from work, you won't, my wife, in 50 years, she never heard me ever say, oh, God, I hate my job, or, oh, God, this happened. She brags. I hear her brag about never hearing her husband complain about work.
Wow.
That is a wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. And so I know
that.
it made me that happy. I know the other barbers out there
Yeah.
are happy. And so, if somebody's not happy with their occupation, do something about it.
Right.
Because
You can make the change.
You only go through life one time.
Yeah.
Sacrifice a little today for pleasure tomorrow.
Yeah. There we go. That's the way to end it.
Yep.
Book's coming out sometime next year.
No, this
fall. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to finish writing it this summer, and then it goes to publisher this fall.
That's awesome. Well,
Doug the Barber.
Doug the Barber. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Doug, I'm so glad you came on. Really
I am
appreciate
too.
it.
Thank you.
It's been a good conversation.
If I can do anything to help you,
Yeah.
I would be.
Probably another Jello shot. So
Yeah.
all right.
Good.
See you guys. Thanks so much.